The cover of Popular Science, a technology magazine on March 2008 said, "Where's my flying car?" Well, what type of answer could we get?
We already have flying cars. They're called helicopters.
Well, the helicopters were originally invented for that.
They're called helicopters.
But this is not the kind of flying car we want, do we? We are in 2020, where we have made transistors so small that they start quantum tunneling. Moore's law isn't applicable as we enter into the realm of quantum physics, which you don't want to get into. There, the subatomic particles behave unlike our macroscopic world. We are a three-dimensional species, and two-dimensional transport is not adequate. We need access to the third dimension for transportation. We have seen a lot of flying cars in movies and TV shows. Pop culture has created a lot of hype around flying cars, like how fascinating and fun they are, and indeed, it seems like it is. Predictions said we would have flying cars, and still, the answer is we are closer than ever before. In the year 1917, Glenn Curtiss invented the first roadable aircraft, Curtiss Autoplane. Aerobal was another roadable aircraft invented by Walter Waterman in 1937. Henry Ford, the founder of Ford Motor Company in 1940, famously said, quote, "Mark my word, a combination airplane and motor car is coming. You may smile, but it will come." End quote. But later in 1946, the amphibian, invented by Robert Fulton, became the first flying car to be certified by the Civil Aeronautics Administration, the predecessor of the Federal Aviation Administration or FAA. The wings and the tail section of the plane could be removed to accommodate road travel, and the propeller could be stored inside the plane's fuselage. It took only 5 minutes to convert the plane into a car. It may not look like a big deal now, but it was a pretty big deal back then. Inspired by amphibian, Moulton Taylor created Aerocar. It was designed to drive, fly, and then drive again without interruption. After amphibian, Aerocar was the second and last roadable aircraft to receive FAA approval. Many vehicles have been built with a variety of flight technology since then. But these weren't the ideal cars. We were nowhere near perfection. We had not reached the pinnacle of flying cars yet. There were a lot of challenges which we needed to overcome. One of which is that flying cars requires tremendous amount of energy to generate lift. We can use either engine or batteries, and using batteries is an upside for environment as well. Airmobile, a flying car manufacturing company, uses engine. While there are many VTOL or vertical takeoff and landing vehicles which are electric or eVTOLs. We use lithium-ion batteries which are used in our mobile phones, tablets, and in laptops too. They also power many other electronics. This is the best battery tech available which we use. A battery's efficiency is measured in specific energy, and the lithium-ion batteries have a specific energy highest of around 250 watt-hour per kilogram, which isn't sufficient for long-range commutes. We need to increase the power-to-weight ratio in order to improve the efficiency. A commercial plane powered by the jet engine fuel has energy density of roughly around 12,000 watt-hour per kilogram. Another challenge which needs to be overcome is infrastructure. We have the technology for flying cars, but where will they fly? Where will they land? Vertical takeoff and landing vehicles might require launching pads. Runways are required for short takeoff and landing vehicles. Launch pads can be built on the top of the building, or they might have to build vertical structures for launching. Along with building new infrastructure, new regulations need to be built. I mean, do you want someone hovering near your window and invading your privacy? No. We might need flying police as well to catch those invaders, or if someone's overspeeding while flying, that'll be totally cyberpunk. So you bought a flying car, then you'll need a pilot license for flying along with the driver license. I mean, look at the cockpit, man. Are humans capable of handling that many controls? We are bad at driving, let alone fly. The driver will have to know everything about the car. Talking about driving, if something bad were to happen while you were driving, you could just pull over. For an air vehicle, you might just drop out of sky and crash into a building or on a highway where a bunch of vehicles are driving, and the damage would be enormous. Avoiding these circumstances, the vehicles needs to be inspected regularly so that no unpredicted accidents arise. Aeroplanes and helicopters are inspected before flying. If they have any minor damage or little probability of crash, it needs to be rectified. And that is what needs to be done with the flying cars. And the person owning it should know every little detail about it, just like we know about our cars. Comparing safety of cars with flying cars is pure negligence because one we drive and the other is we fly. Another factor to be taken into consideration is noise. Yeah, flying cars are noisy. Do you want to be woken up by the noise of the flying car which just landed in your neighborhood? No, man. Enter 21st century. Aeromobile, a flying car manufacturing company, has developed many variants, but the recent ones are Airmobile 3.0 and Airmobile 4.0. This is the cockpit of 3.0, which flew, but unfortunately it crashed in 2015. 4.0, which is STOL or short takeoff and landing. They have provided all the specification about 4.0 on their website, with which you can totally nerd out. There's also a concept Airmobile 5.0, which is VTOL. You can see as it detects traffic, it diverts you to the nearest helipad for vertical takeoff. For this to happen, there has to be major infrastructure changes. PALV or Personal Air and Land Vehicle is another manufacturing company. This is the PALV 1. There are two more editions, PALV Liberty Sports Edition and PALV Liberty Pioneer Edition. Just look at the cockpit of this vehicle. With all those controls, the vehicles are eVTOL or electric vertical takeoff and landing. Another company is Airbus. They have an aircraft named Airbus A3 Vahana, which is all electric, single seat, tilt wing, 8 propellers VTOL personal air vehicle. Airbus and Audi partnered to provide air and ground urban mobility. You might have heard about Uber's flying taxis. Their flying taxi is also an electric VTOL. They work by taking you to what Uber calls skyport, a building rooftop. There, a flying car will take off and will probably cover 1 or 2 hours of road journey in just 10 minutes. As you land, an alternative form of transportation will be waiting for you to get you to your destination. There's also a concept design of air taxi by Uber called Uber Vision. Uber has partnered with Bell and unveiled the Bell Nexus Air Taxi at CES 2019. Uber has also partnered with Hyundai and unveiled the SA1 Air Taxi at CES 2020. Volocopter 2X is another flying taxi manufacturing company. It is vertical takeoff and landing. They manufacture drones as well. There's Lilium Jet Flying Taxi, which is 5-seater all-electric and also VTOL. Porsche and Boeing partnered to make a luxurious flying car. They are working on a prototype that will be capable of vertically taking off and landing. Aston Martin unveiled the Volante Vision concept of flying car, which looks straight out of sci-fi. Japan's SkyDrive recently tested their flying car, which didn't have wheels but will add them later as they wanted to do the hard part first, which was flying the car. There are many other companies and emerging startups in the flying car space. Personal air vehicle is kind of a rich lifestyle. Why would a middle class person buy a $140,000 flying car? And if someone buys it, it needs to be used and not to be kept in the garage. But for driving and flying, one has to get a license. Imagine how terrified people will be of autonomous aircraft after the first one crashes, or how suspicious they'll be of a drone carrying 6 people over their backyard and thinking that no kind of failure occurs and just hope that it doesn't drop out of the sky and falls over. With all these instances, gaining customers' trust is equally vital. Flying taxis will need to have pilots when the trust of customers on flying vehicles is less. But eventually, as they gain trust, the flying taxis can become totally automated. Flying cars are at their infancy, and there's a lot of development that can happen, improving them like in battery tech on which you can work on and start a battery revolution. With many companies developing flying cars brings huge competition and a good product and eventually better services for the customer. Let me know what your thoughts are about flying cars in the comments down below. Like, will you be okay if a car with passengers hovering on top of your head? Will you travel in flying cars? Whatever. Just let me know what your thoughts are about flying cars in the comments down below. I hope you liked the video and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Later.